Okay, thanks to each of you. Now we'll have rebuttals. And there's not too much time left, I think, for some of you. But Mr. Brady, I think you have 15 seconds.
Well, I was proud to say nice things about Chris Ronayne in my brochure, and I was sincere about it. Thank you.
And Mr. Badura, you also have 15 seconds.
About the job opportunities that Chris created and 117 by Target, I wouldn't take 227 homes and the only Pari Center and 37 businesses to build one Target that may close down 2 years from now. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Gascoigne, you have 3 minutes and 15 seconds.
Thank you. So, hello again. I would like to address a widespread problem with some solutions that I see that may work involving education, employment, and growth. The issue of unplanned fatherhood is somewhere where the county can teach a man to fish. The charter does give authority to grant scholarships and grants to to those in the community that want to go to vocational schools or community colleges, four-year college. And by enacting a policy prioritizing unwed fathers to follow wherever their aptitude may lie, either a trade, vocational school, or follow scholarly pursuits, this would help with an opportunity for him to do that. And once he gets his license, where will he work? Well, maybe he could start his own business. And where would he start that business? Well, I do support Dave Greenspan, Republican running in District 1, his plan of opening economic corridors to communities that want them. It connects grant monies that are available to people wanting to start a business. So once our unwed father would establish a business, this does a lot of things. It increases the city's revenues. The schools may improve because they're getting more money, and a father is working and providing for his own. Not only that, he's hiring employees that in turn provide for their families. This is the most compassionate thing that we can do, is allow someone to take an idea, develop a business, hire employees. This generates wealth, and it brings out our local innovative, creative potential in people within our cities. It makes them more attractive. Communities competing for businesses and for population will raise the region up. Wealth and revenues are generated, not redistributed. Competition does produce a better quality of product. Now, if we couple that with reducing sales tax, people will have more money in their pockets, and there will be more taxable transactions. And I believe economists agree that 4% is the lowest tax rate that generates a high inflow of revenue. Thank you. Thank you very much. My time is up.
Thank you, candidates. Now I'd like to ask a couple of follow-up questions. Oh, I'm sorry, Chris. You have 40 seconds left. I apologize.
I could see how you thought I used all my time, though. Well, staying on the road to reform for a minute, I want to articulate at least what I think it means and what our campaign is all about. This should be about a better way, not the old way. What is a better way? It's about a candidate open to new ideas about smart government who advances alternatives to the status quo. It's a candidate working to work across community borders and party lines to get things done. It's a candidate who builds a broad coalition of support from labor, business, nonprofit, neighborhood service organization, and neighborhood residents. That's the better way, and that's our way. Thank you.
Thank you. And now I do have a couple of questions, follow-up questions for each of you. I'm going to ask this question first, and I'd like Mr. Brady and then Mr. Ronayne to answer this question, and then I'll have another one for the other candidates. Since there is, and each of you have government experience, that's why it's directed to you, since there's no real model to use to help establish this council, what form of legislature would you offer to model this after? Mr. Brady, you stay at the seat.
Sorry, thank you. Well, that's a very good question. When I entered the Cleveland City Council, the Ohio House, and the Ohio Senate, they were already there to greet me. There were already people there to show me where my office was and who was on the staff and what the procedures were. There were already veterans there to help me find the way. Eventually, I became a veteran myself. This case, we'll be going into essentially an empty room with no one there but us. And that's why I think it's important to have people who do have government experience in this very first council. I think it's going to take some time as well to be a member of the founding council. And so I'll look to models of other county governments like Allegheny County and use my experience, which is quite varied, to help set up a new founding government.
Chris?
Indeed, there are two very good regional models to follow. Certainly one of them is Allegheny County, which implemented county reform shortly after we studied it in '96, and thankfully for them, they implemented it in the late '90s. But I went down to Summit County and actually met with the county exec and talked with Mayor Pasqualik, and he said of our county council and county exec system, he said, you're all going to pay a lot of attention to the county exec race, and this is why I'm very glad you're here today. He said, don't forget about the county council. If you, pardon the parlance, I'll find a better word, if you mess that up, you will, it's hard to do that with Don Pasqualik, you know what he said. If you mess that up, you will mess up the system going forward. In both cases, one thing that's important, laypersons from all different walks of life and faculties are working on those council in their part-time. They're former teachers, they're business owners, they're nonprofit workers. That is a distinguishing difference. We have to remember this cannot be a full council of all politicians.
Thank you. Now I have a question for the other two candidates. I'd like Ms. Gascoigne to answer first and then Mr. Bador. Cuyahoga County is among the nation's 6 most fragmented counties with 59 municipalities. What do you see as the relationship between county government and the municipalities? Patty?
Well, testing. Am I on?
Yep.
According to the charter, each municipality is autonomous, and decisions within the county government, the council and the chief executive, which do have equal powers according to the charter, decisions made respecting the municipalities. We can't really impose on them something that goes against their rights as autonomous entities. I mean, they would have to agree to sharing services, for example, which, you know, they would have to be given something in return. So the actual bureaucracy behind that would have to be hashed out between the municipality and the county government. But nothing can be put forward on the municipalities without their agreement. Thank you.
Thank you. And Fuzzy, would you comment on the relationship between?
As I said, Jim, in my opening statement, those cities in Cuyahoga County are broken and broke. They can't even take care of their business. They can't deliver their services. They can't even cover the tax revenue that they get. They can't. It doesn't cover the trash collection, and the police force is not. They can't even respond to calls. So this county must be involved. I believe. In every department,